Hello everybody, Future Victor from the editing room here. Unfortunately, there was an issue with the sound on Joey in this After Hours episode. We've salvaged as much as possible, but we hope you will give it a listen anyway. The sound issues will be fixed for future episodes. Enjoy the show. Welcome everybody to the second episode of the Speakeasy Podcast After Hours. I'm Victor, this is still Joey.
Yep.
Hi, Joey.
Hello. How you doing?
So obviously this is the after hours part of the show where we've already had a few.
Oh, yes, we did.
And so you've come up with a wild idea. You've come up with a mad one here.
Oh,
that we're gonna start the conversation with a very, very popular TV show.
Oh yeah.
So here we go.
Well, yeah. So if you haven't seen The Last of Us yet, go away now. You are up to episode 5. I'm up to date.
Yeah, and miss me with that stuff in the. I know you don't have to go in the comments below and go. How come you have? I'm aware.
Yeah, catch up, man.
I know, man.
It is a fucking show.
Yes.
It is so good.
Did you see that they got review bombed? By the way.
Yeah, episode 3.
Yeah, and 9. I haven't watched episode 9, so
9,
you know.
And 9 isn't out yet. 9 is the last one.
What is it 8 then?
I
don't know. It was 2 episodes. It was episode 3 and then one of the later episodes I saw, but I don't know.
Oh yeah, could be. I think I know why. But yeah, could be. I won't spoil it for you, but I think I know why.
Yeah, but yes, what a show! And one of the first, the first, and I don't want to say the first, but the best adaptation of a video game, where it actually stays true to the original and also visually, it looks gorgeous.
Oh my god!
Wow,
they knocked it out of the park.
Yeah, for sure.
They really did.
For sure,
they really did.
And it's wild because when I heard the casting, I was like, I mean, I like Pedro Pascal a lot, but it's very far from Joel in the game.
You would think so, but at the other hand, he does play the Mandalorian, which is
kind of similar.
A kind of on the back foot father figure that doesn't really want to have anything to do with the cargo he's shipping.
You're not
but then
wrong.
Gets close to it.
You're not wrong. But I will say, I think the reason why I was kind of pessimistic or like at least somewhat about it was that until that point, what was rumored was that it was going to be the Danish guy Nikolaj Coster-Waldau, who's played in Game of Thrones, amongst other things. He plays the guy in Game of Thrones that has sex with his sister.
Yes.
Lena Headey or whatever. Yeah.
Is it Jamie Lannister?
Yes.
Yeah.
And he looks very much like Joel in the game. He's like almost a spitting image, I think. And so I think that would have been cool. What I will say is this: Pedro Pascal does an amazing job. And when I actually saw the show itself, I've not thought about it once, except for the fact that his voice is still Pedro Pascal. It's just Pedro Pascal, isn't it? I mean, it's what it is.
It is. I mean, it's not. It's like, who voices him in the?
It's
Troy Baker.
Yes, Troy Baker, legendary voice actor, has done countless video games, cartoons, animes, all that stuff, and his voice is iconic. And I will say, I didn't understand on the other hand the people that went, well, they should just go with Troy Baker and Ashley Johnson that does the guys. Come on, man. Ashley Johnson's like in her mid-40s probably or some shit. I don't even know how old she is.
But they do have guest
cameos. They have cameos. I heard. Yeah.
Episode 8 has Troy Baker, and I think the last episode.
That's cool. I will say there's actually one role in it that has the original from the game in it, and that's Marlene, the leader of the Fireflies.
Right. Yeah.
She's the same as in the games.
You're up to wait. You've seen the general of the lady in what was it? Where are they now?
In episode 5, they are in a city where they.
Seattle?
I think so. No,
something like that.
no,
I don't know. I don't know what it is.
no. It's Kansas City. It's Kansas City, right?
Oh, Kansas, sure.
I think so.
Yeah. So her general
Mm-hmm.
is the voice actor for Tommy.
Mm.
So I like how they gave everyone that's prominent in the show
Yes.
just a cameo. It's nice. They've as a video adaptation, you usually are like, oh god, don't.
It looks
And
so real. I saw
have,
apparently a Danish videographer shot 2 of the episodes, filmed 2 of the episodes because I think it's episode 8 and 9. It's directed by a Swedish director, and he has a very close working relationship with the Danish videographer, so he shot them apparently. And there was an interview with him, and he said it was unbelievable going from shooting Scandinavian style movies where the sets are small and you have to a huge Hollywood sized multi-million-dollar set where everything is just bigger, better, stronger, faster. Everything is just it looks so good. And I will say I've seen there's a lot of criticism about the adaptation, as in they have I think it's not justified, but there's some people that are mad about how they've stretched out some parts of the plot. In particular episode 3, and no spoilers if you haven't watched episode 3, that's definitely not how that goes down in the game. I don't really mind it. I think that has to be expected because
it's a beautiful episode though.
Yeah.
It's the show, like, knowing the game, I feel like as a game adaptation you should expect it to have a bit of originality, because you can't just do the exact same thing, even though they are very close. And
so some parts is almost equally one to one to the games, right?
Yeah,
it's a game, but like you say, you can't really expect that. Like it has to work as a series, as a TV show, and there are some things and some camera angles and whatnot that a game can do that a TV show just can't.
It's also getting attached to characters in a show is way harder than it is in a video game, because in a video game you can fuck around for an hour with the same characters and they'll have like tiny interactions with each other. But in a TV show you don't have that amount of time, so you'll need that episode 3 to become attached to Bill
exactly
and Frank. So it's for me, episode 3 is definitely one of the best episodes.
I think what is wonderful about the adaptation in general is how close. I think it's not, for me, it's not about the exact plot. It's about the feeling, the sensation you get, the tone of the show, the way they color things with the acting and with how the scenes are written, and that is almost an uncanny match to the game. And I say that as someone that that game is top 3 for me of all time. That game is absolutely incredible. Part one. I haven't actually played. You want to know something crazy? I didn't play part 2 because it was so controversial.
Yeah.
So I haven't played it yet.
Yeah, I've seen parts of part 2. I mean, I can get why people are like, why, but I can also see like the appeal for it.
Yeah.
But like I won't.
Anyways, it is wonderful. Now, with that out of the way, you said, let's talk about the zombie apocalypse. And that was the wild part.
Okay, so Last of Us, worst fucking case scenario. That shit is horrifying. You cannot escape it. It is there. You are fucked.
Yeah.
You are fucked.
You're done, so manifesto. Yeah.
You are done. You eat some cookies made with flour. Great. You're a zombie.
Bye-bye.
Yeah. Oh my god. But if you have the Walking Dead zombies, it's what?
At least you feel like there's yes.
You feel like there's some chance. These Last of Us zombies are fast. They come in hordes and they're fast.
The part where the vegetation and it can call this the clickers is wild.
Yeah. So I kind of want to. Okay, so let's say we're in zombie apocalypse.
Yeah.
What's your top 3 things you would first get?
It's the thing is, having watched, and that's in the game, so that's not a spoiler. And is that obviously Bill is a hacking doomsday prepper, right?
Yep.
And so we can't do what they can do in America, as in we can't keep 100 guns or flamethrower, all that, whatever you could, like bazooka, or tank, or whatever. For me, I've always looked at it like this. It's a funny thought experiment, right? Because there's almost no way it's gonna happen. But at the same time, it's tantalizing to think, what would I do? Like, what can I actually do? So I would just find some place that is well fenced off, but it's also where you're able to grow things, would be my preference. I don't think in Denmark weapons are very, very scarce. Not a lot of people have access to handguns and firearms in general, so I don't think that would be something I would look for. I'll probably look at tools, a car that works, and then probably get as far away from Copenhagen as possible. I think that would be my
definitely Copenhagen. Yeah. I mean, okay, so let's say it this way: you're on a part of the world where it's not that busy. You're not in the middle of a city.
Yeah.
You are in kind of the outskirts of nature, basically. Let's say you're in Canada or whatever, and you're in the middle of
in the wilds, in the wilderness. Yep.
Because in the city, I feel like everyone's fucked.
I think if you're, like, for instance, I live on the outskirts of Copenhagen, so I don't live directly in the city, and I'm very close to the exit of Copenhagen, so to speak. Right. So in that sense, I would probably have a better chance of getting out. But on the other hand, the sheer density of people means that you would probably have way less of a chance to survive than if you were, let's say, you live on an island, or you live, like you say, in a cabin in the woods or whatever.
Yeah.
For sure. And I also think in the movies they always go, and that's the part where you have to, in TV shows and games, you have to have the suspension of disbelief, where you see, for instance, 20 years after, and they can still use the same gas, the same petrol in the cars, where you go, well, probably how it would work.
Which is something they do address in The Last of Us.
Exactly, and I like that part a lot.
Which is really great.
Yeah. But I've always thought of it as this: you can get away with a lot if you're able to just dig a moat, sort of, between you and like fence yourself in that way.
No, I agree. But I think my top 3 things. I mean, definitely number 1 would probably be canned food. Anything that
yes, yeah,
just stays good for a long, long time.
Yep.
I mean, you would need some. I feel like getting a good biker's outfit, like leather.
I thought exactly the same, like something that protects you but doesn't hinder your movement, right? You wouldn't want roller skate outfit, because that constricts your movement in some sense.
Yeah. So
biker's jacket.
Some kind of leather outfit, leather gloves, solid steel toe boots.
Yeah. Yes.
Just good outfit, and then
I mean, something very underrated, and I think not like isn't very obvious is like a tinder, right? Like a fire striker, so you can actually create fire reliably. Because at that point, I think you have the survival kits where you have like 5 matches in it, and you go, well, okay, so I'm done after that, or what? Like, how am I supposed, So like a fire striker, like one of those things where you go on a knife and then you get the sparks. Then that'd be good.
The other end of the question: how long do you think you would survive in a zombie apocalypse?
Like there's a part of me that wants to be the badass and go, I would live forever. But there's also the realistic part that goes, I could be the first guy to go, or I could be the last guy ever. I feel like, intellectually speaking, I would probably be as well equipped as anybody. Not to say that I'm a genius or anything, but the fact that you and I are the kind of people that would that put thought into it before it happens would probably put us ahead of some people that just go la la la. but at the same time, you could imagine this: you have to get out of the city. You hurry, you fall and break a leg, game over. Like that's just the way it is, right?
Yep.
So, I think in that sense, you are way worse off than I am because the Netherlands is way more densely populated than Denmark is.
Yep.
So
it's also very closed in.
Yeah, exactly, and you have the biggest ports, so a lot of people coming through. So it's like that is one thing I was gonna say is if you can get a boat, like a boat that can be reliably ridden without gas, that has like a sail or that you can paddle or whatever, that would probably be a very solid thing to have. And specifically in Denmark, because we have a very, very many islands, a lot of islands in the southern parts. So that would probably be something. I don't know how long it would last. I think, seeing as I have back issues right now, I'm a goner, I think. But at the same time, I think I would probably I think I would stay alive longer than the average. But right. I think it's very tough. I also think it's also to the point where you go, okay, but what's the scenario? Is it that at some point
which kind of fucking zombies?
Yeah, exactly. Is it can we at some point reliably say they will die out, and then we can repopulate? So you only have to survive, let's say 10-15 years before you can start repopulating, and the majority of the virus is burned out or whatever. Or is it like in The Last of Us where it'll keep going because it's actually not a virus, it's a living organism in itself.
Yeah.
So but yeah, how about you? Do you have any thoughts? I have this. Do you have any places you want to go? Is there a place where you think I could go to? Not Amsterdam, but
Yeah, no. I mean, in Holland, I think I would survive very long.
No, you'd have to get it someplace. You'll probably get to Germany, right?
If we could choose where we go, I would go to New Zealand.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yep.
Not just because there would be less people there, but definitely because fresh water is so easily
the climate in general, right? Yeah.
You can grow stuff easily. You can.
There's not a lot of poisonous animals that will kill you.
No, so it's like if I was somewhere like that, then you would obviously have to know and learn how to grow stuff and how to properly make food and how to skin animals. Like that.
That is, but this might be the biggest famous last words, or this might end up somewhere clipped. I don't think growing foods is the hardest thing, because it is literally just about. I think the hard part is getting the seeds to plant for potatoes or corn or whatever. But if you let's say you're in New Zealand. You have access to fresh water. You have a fields, because there's obviously fields. It's a volcanic soil, because that's the rich soil. At that point, it is probably literally just plop in the seed, like obviously sow the land, and then you pour water on it. Bob's your uncle. But the part you're right about, the part with animals, that part is gonna be a nightmare, right? Getting the animals at first place, keeping enough alive so that the stock maintains, figuring out how to you can't just throw away stuff at that point. So even though
is valuable.
Yeah, exactly, right, you have to eat everything, all that stuff. So yeah, that part is probably going to be hard. Yeah, I've always thought about it like this. There's you're probably right. New Zealand is probably one of the best places. Another place would probably be something like the Maldives, because it's tiny islands. There's an infrastructure that you can use. Lots of fish. The only thing you can reliably not find is probably clean water, right? So you'd have to make it still. But I don't actually know.
Yeah, I think somewhere close to the beach and somewhere with fresh water is and can take you a long while, because you can survive on fish for a while.
Yeah, for sure. I think an underrated place that is, and that's probably because it's hard to get to, like the Norwegian fjords are probably a good place.
Yeah,
access to the sea, to fish, lots of fresh water from the mountains and all the glaciers and whatnot.
Yeah, definitely.
The hard part there is obviously the weather, right? Like that's gonna be a nightmare in the winter time.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's very interesting. When we talk about tools, what I think is if you have someone like that's me, for instance, my girlfriend is a nurse. Obviously, that the skills she has goes a long way. She can patch you up. She knows anatomy. So if it comes to skinning an animal, she could probably even if she doesn't want to do it herself, she could probably teach me how to do. This is where you go the cut, and I go suk, and you know. Yeah. But and so that would probably be it. And I also think if you have some sort of semblance of engineering, so you can build structures and understand, that would go a long way. And I feel like that is something that I would just that would have to be trial and error for me. Like I would literally just go, okay, that fell down, that didn't work. Back to the drawing board, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a fascinating topic, right? Because there are so many unforeseen consequences.
Yeah, well, not just consequences. It's just shit can happen anytime. We've seen it with COVID. Like you and I have never known a pandemic or anything like that. Like the biggest thing we've probably gone through was the economic crash in like 2008. Was it or something?
Yes.
Which we were still kids, so.
You're completely right. I actually talked to my grandma about this recently. That and this has nothing to do with zombie apocalypse, but just in general, my generation and your generation, we've never had any enemies, so to speak. Like we didn't go through the Cold War, we didn't go through the Second World War or Vietnam, or we've always known peace. There's always been peace in the world. Yes, from time to time there have been wars, like in Iraq or but it's always been contained wars that are only affecting one country. We've not known massive scale conflicts like Ukraine now, or the pandemics where all of a sudden, you can't get in and out of the country and, all that stuff. So I think in that sense, I don't think COVID prepared for any major disaster like that, but let's say a third world war did come. Mentally we're probably in a better place to understand what we're going through at that point than we were before COVID.
Oh, definitely. Like before COVID, I feel like everyone is just again so desensitized with everything, and no one cares, and everything is just there's a war in Ukraine. Okay,
yeah.
That problem, not ours.
Yeah. What do I care? I can still get my Xbox and PlayStation and whatnot.
And to be honest, it's very easy to just block it out. Yeah. And I have huge respect for the people that live in our situations that go out and help.
Yes, and for sure.
Because my girlfriend, she went. There was a Ukrainian refugee center in Breda, where we live, and she was like, she didn't have really much to do. So she was like, "Oh yeah, I'm just gonna help refugees in the afternoon." I'm like,
"Good on you."
Damn. Make me feel bad, Jesus.
Meanwhile, I just sit at my stupid job. So
I'm just complaining about my job, and you are just.
But you're completely right. It's so easy to, and it's also so easy to not get a realistic image or a realistic grasp on what the situation is actually like. Because at the same time, a lot of the media shows us that the world is falling apart and war everywhere, and But at the same time, if you look at it objectively, almost every human on the planet has it better than they've had before. Like historically speaking, there's less people that need food. There's less people that go through like sickness. The general age of dying is going up. So while things are bad, and there's definitely things we should change, there's also definitely positive things to look out for, right?
Yeah.
So
for sure.
I'm with you completely. Like much respect for all the people that have gone and helped the people from Ukraine, and to everybody like taking them in and making sure they land on their feet, because I can't even imagine going through stuff like that, where it's because when you look at it, the scary part is you look at the cities in Ukraine, and they were literally big cities. They were cities with hundreds of thousands of people living there, and now they're literally, as in if a zombie apocalypse happened, right? They're just bombed, and you would never know that was a city like 3-4 months, maybe a year ago, and it's wild. Like
it is, and I feel like it can happen to. I feel like it can happen to any country. Now, obviously, there's a lot of consequences if one country fucks with the wrong country.
Yeah,
but at the same time, I feel like one of these days, which is also still a fucking scary ass thought, is like Russia could throw a hella atom bomb, not giving a fuck, because Putin is like, yeah, I don't care.
That's the wild part, right? I saw. You're completely right, because I saw like a throwaway comment somewhere that went like 1,000 years ago, the biggest weapon we had was like ballistas, right?
Yeah,
that's
just
throw a big rock.
And, a spear, whatever.
Yeah. And now it's literally one bomb can destroy entire countries, entire maybe even continents if it's
for years.
Yeah, for thousands of years, right?
It's not just oh boom and you can rebuild. It's just that area isn't livable for the next 10, 20, 30, 50 years.
Yeah, more even.
Maybe even more. Yeah.
Because remember, most you as I understand it, and I'm not an expert on atomic bombs or weapons, but everybody knows what's Chernobyl, right? And that is a fraction of what the bombs are able to do now. So and that is still not livable. That is still so contaminated that we cannot go near it.
Isn't Nagasaki livable again?
Yes.
Some people live there. Yeah, so
but Nagasaki was as I understand, yes.
Oh no, that's 70 years ago.
It's almost 100 now, right? It was in the 40s, so it must have been 80 years ago.
80-ish, yeah.
But as I understand it, Nagasaki and at the other bomb that was thrown, that was a 20th of what happened in Chernobyl.
Oh yeah.
So that's the scary part, man.
Yeah, nowadays I feel like I saw because there's a website or something that you can see. You can select an atom bomb. You can put it in places, and you can see what the devastation would be.
Yeah.
And I if they threw a bomb in Antwerp, which is in Belgium,
you would get hit. You would be done.
My windows would shatter.
Yeah.
Which is a wild thought.
Yeah. The shockwave. Yeah.
Yeah. So, let's relax, everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone just love each other.
Yes.
Hold each other close.
Love, peace, love, and happiness.
Yeah. It's a scary thought.
It is. It really is, and it's also I consider myself lucky that I've had adversity to go through, so that I've had to on a baby scale or a small scale deal with stuff that is what can happen in life. But I feel like a lot of our generation have been fortunate and blessed enough, especially in our part of the world, that they haven't gone through life-altering situations, that they haven't gone through situations that impact your entire life. And so from that perspective, I understand why all of a sudden a huge percentage of the population gets depressed after COVID, because people do not know the ramifications of what is happening. They do not have the tools to deal with being isolated and being alone and stuff. And so that makes it even scarier that you and I could probably survive, but in general, we're also still under the impact of everything else, right? Yeah. It's a scary thought.
Like you say, I feel like COVID just kind of got everyone under this illusion that everything is fine and everything is always sunshine and rainbows. Well, not for everyone, obviously, but
no. But it's also the thing is, before we had no care in the world. The biggest care was, can I get my PlayStation and my
No, it is.
Now, I am surprised at how fast we've gone from mandated lockdowns, masks, and vaccines to nothing. Like we don't,
It's also I feel like after COVID, everyone during COVID, everyone was kind of like going through it, obviously, um, and very introspective and everything. But I feel like afterwards, a lot of people instantly reverted back um to just disassociating as a coping mechanism
Yep.
and just falling back into the rhythm of like, yeah, nothing's going on. I don't care what's going on.
Yeah,
Am I feeling good?
there was no
Am I feeling good? Not
yeah.
really, but yeah, whatever. It's just it
Yeah, but
is what it
also
is.
there's also no reflection on what should I take away from this? What did I
Yeah.
learn from this?
No.
It's just, oh, we're not in this situation anymore. I can go back to being how I
Yeah.
was before. Yeah,
And
it is scary.
some people definitely bettered their lives because of COVID and
Yeah,
but
I
I
I
think
I think I had it very very easy during COVID because I was allowed to go to work.
yeah, same. Yeah.
And I first of all I had COVID. I was among the first 100 in Denmark to have COVID, and so I was sick for almost a month, and that was wild. Holy, I've never been that sick in my life. God damn.
Yeah.
But then after that, it it was almost as if like I remember those mornings where I biked to work, and it was almost like a zombie apocalypse. Like there was the
It's a
street,
ghost town. No one's
no
there.
cars, no buses, almost, and you see one guy all of a sudden you're like, what the hell? Someone else is out, like,
Yeah.
like and but that was at the beginning, right? Then a month goes by and you go, okay, that's just the way it is, right? Like the adaptation
Yeah.
process was so easy. It was just okay.
Yeah.
Adaptation
I feel like for me, I never really adapted to it that bad because, like, obviously, on one part, I had a good thing because we kind of just like I saw my friends still,
Yeah,
even though it wasn't really allowed. We still saw each other like a few days a week.
yeah,
Um, uh, but on the other hand, I had to do the long distance relationship for like 1.5 years,
yeah,
which made it um, never really like a set thing, because to me it was always like, oh, it might open the next month, and then the next month it never opened up. Oh, it might open in the next half year, and it
yeah,
never opened up. And it's just you kind of keep living towards the next milestone,
yeah.
which never came, which felt like. So yeah, uh it never really got yeah, I really never really got used to it, which yeah, COVID was rough.
It was more rough than
Yeah.
you. I had the opposite experience than a lot of people, because for me the rough part was afterwards, was getting back into being
Mm,
social again, and readapting into because it's so easy to become antisocial, isn't it? It's so easy to just,
mm,
we do everything and
yeah.
in a Zoom call or in Discord, or and then you can work remotely, and then you don't have to talk to anybody, and when you order a pizza, it's contactless delivery, so he just leaves it outside the door. And that part was actually rough for me,
Mm,
getting, because I was very aware of it happening during it, because like I said, it was a surprise when you saw people, and it was
yeah.
hella awkward when you had to greet someone. Do you do the foot tap? Do you bump elbows? What do you do, right? And you
Mm,
can't read people's faces because they're wearing a mask. And so it was very rough afterwards. But while we were
mm,
in it, I sort of adapted the, okay, but the only way out is through. Like there is no, I can just put my head in the sand and this will be over kind of outlook. There's that is not a possibility. You have to get through it by pushing yourself and doing something to it.
yep,
So, but I completely agree with you. Like it was so rough, and
mm,
the thing I just, we had it so easy because both the Netherlands and Denmark had very rough, but very um transparent lockdowns. And
yeah.
then you see, like, Australia, for instance, had, like you say, 2 years 2 years of lockdown.
of complete lockdown. No one gets in or out of the country. Just nothing.
Yeah, and then you see
Yeah.
in China, they've just only, I think it's just a month or two ago that they opened up the last lockdown.
Yeah.
And it's just the contrast. I remember the first time I flew after COVID. I came from Copenhagen, where we were the first country in Europe to drop face masks. We were the first to drop the Corona passport thing. You didn't have to do anything. So it was basically like before, and it took and I think me and my girlfriend flew to Berlin the month after, and in that month we had forgotten completely about the mask and whatnot. And so flying to Berlin, it was like fuck your foreign country, man. You go to like mask and you have to scan everywhere, and they have the app, and you go and you had to have 3 different like you have to have one for each point of vaccination, and so it was just. It's wild. We were so privileged.
Going even further, we went to Malta in December, which was just entering the second or third lockdown in Holland, like the last one in Holland, and we already got kind of rid of the masks in regular stuff, except for public transport and like really crowded areas. But then you go to Malta, and in Malta you need to wear it on the streets.
Yep.
You need forms and forms filled out to even get into the country, because you need vaccinations. You need a declaration of something. It's such a foreign thing to us. Because we're used to just getting on a plane, scanning only the boarding pass because you're in Europe and the passport doesn't even matter.
I know. I remember you used to fly here from that time during a weekend, and you could book a ticket. It was 40 euros. You flew here. It took you fucking 2 hours. You could be there half an hour before the flight. You just zoom through, right? Now it's like you have to have one for each part of the vaccination. You have to have a valid test at least like not more than 48 hours ago that you didn't have the COVID. You have to have your passport because you had to show that you came from a European country, and and it's just such a hassle, man. And it feels so, saying that out loud, it feels so privileged because we have strong passports and we could go wherever the hell we want in the world almost. And the realization that we are mad because we can't go to Malaga or whatever and have a nice holiday while other people just they had more than 1 million people die in America, and we are out here like but I couldn't go to
hey I couldn't go to my holiday, man.
I know, right? Man.
Hello.
It was wild.
I think we should end it off with a positive note. What would be a good thing, a really good thing you took away from all of it?
The best part I took away from it is that if you have friends, like friendships, they don't like actual true friendships where you have something real and a real connection. It doesn't rely on physical appearance, and it doesn't rely on you seeing each other once a week or whatever. So a lot of the friendships that in it, you lose a lot of contact with a lot of people, but I luckily was able to salvage a lot of the actual friendships. And also I gained a lot of confidence in knowing that most of the things you deal with on a day-to-day basis, you have some sort of reference point, or you have some sort of experience dealing with whatever you're going through. Right. It might not be, you might not like have it extended, but you've definitely had something similar happen to you. Like if someone dies, you've probably experienced it before. If someone gets sick, you've heard of it, But I took a lot of confidence away from knowing that even something as far out for me as a global pandemic that I had no knowledge of, and that almost came from, because I remember it took only like 2 weeks from our government going, that'll never get here, to, okay, we're shutting it down. And I
remember that.
Yeah. So I took a lot of confidence knowing that I could get through that by being aware of where I was and being aware of what I could do to better myself. That was looking back at it, that was very good for me, knowing, okay, I can actually get through most things if I'm just, breathe, know where you are, like reflect a bit on your situation and see what you can do to improve it for yourself.
Yeah.
How about you?
No, I think I think the kind of reflecting your first one is just the importance of real solid relationships
Yeah.
and the people close to you that really care about you, because I always I used to not value the close like family like relationships or really close friendships as I should and as I am now. So I feel like the my understanding of the value that I place in the real solid and good relationships that I have uh, that I have to maintain and put effort in, obviously.
Yeah.
I think that is the main thing. Other than that, um, also just learning how to be on your own and be
Yes, that's a good point.
and be content with yourself. Believing in yourself, believing you can do anything you really set your mind to, um, and just as hard as it gets, to just keep going and.
I think that's a very good point. It's the you learn the value of being able to be at ease in your own company.
Yep.
And not having to rely on having other people around physically all the time.
Yep.
That's a very good point.
Yeah.
I also think, in general, it also, in some sense, even though I don't necessarily consider that a positive, it also weeded out some of the bad relationships. It became very obvious to you which relationships were healthy, and that you could salvage and that you could rely on, and which relationships weren't as strong as you thought they were, right?
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah. Well, I guess that was this week's edition of the After Hours. That was a wild ride.
It went from one end to straight to the other end.
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah.
Well, as always, guys, if you enjoyed what you listened to, you are more than welcome to hit the subscribe button below. We would appreciate that. Remember that there's also this week's episode of the regular Speakeasy podcast that you could listen to. This week we tackled Taboo by Denzel Curry. And we also had a very nice, interesting news article on, let's say, a 2,000-year-old fallacial object.
Oh.
So, yeah.
Nicely put.
With that, guys, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys next week.
If you have anything that we can talk about.
Sure.
On the After Hours, also, just let us know. And we'll tackle it. If you have any problems, anything you want to talk to us about, let us know, and we'll...
Put it down in the comments. Also, as always, our social media handles are below. If you feel more comfortable putting it in a DM, if you want us to tackle it a specific way, do that.
Yep.
But yeah, that's a good point.
Anonymous. Just let us know.
Of course.
Anyway, thanks for watching.
We'll
see you all next episode.
Bye.